everyone, it's Miss Stefan. I'm here with a quick lesson on the scientific method. This is a process that scientists use all over the world as they're going through their own process of discovery and creating inventions. So let's look first at the steps. Ask a question. The second step, gather information. To do this, you need to observe, look, listen, taste, touch, and smell using your senses. You need to read, like books, articles, the newspaper, and look online, and ask an expert in the field where you're researching. The third step, form a hypothesis. That's where you're going to guess the answer to your question, make a prediction. The next step, test your hypothesis. Do an experiment to see if you're right. And finally, share the results. Tell other people what you learned. That's your conclusion. And that's what's happening right now with coronavirus. Scientists all over the world have the problem of how to come up with a vaccine or a better way to treat people. So they're doing a lot of tests, a lot of experiments, and sharing their results and their conclusions so scientists all over the world can work together. So let's listen to a quick song that just illustrates for you what the scientific method is.
Observation of the world around. Take notes and record all the things that you found. Then you ask a simple question, something that you want to learn. Then you form a hypothesis to explain what you observe. Then you make a prediction about how it's gonna go to a test with a control and a variable. Then you analyze the data and draw a conclusion to the scientific method to avoid all confusion. Make an observation, ask a question, form a hypothesis and make a prediction, do a test or experimentation, analyze data and draw a conclusion. Make an observation, ask a question, form a hypothesis and make a prediction, do a test or experimentation, analyze data and draw a conclusion.
Okay, so that just gave you guys a really good visual picture of what the scientific method looks like, as these two kids were using the scientific method in their experiment about growing plants. Okay? So now we're going to read. Now we're going to do a quick article together. This title is Young Scientists Share the Hard Work Behind Their Winning Projects. That's the title. And here we see a student working on her project. She's doing something here with a solar panel. So let's read together. Some young inventors came up with new ideas. Jordan Prawira is 12 years old. He made a better wind turbine, which is like a windmill. Caroline Crouchley is 13 years old. She built a train that runs underground using air pressure. Cara Fan is 14 years old. She created a new kind of bandage. They were in the 3M Young Scientist Challenge. They worked with adult scientists for the contest. Here's our next section. I see a new subheading, Using the Scientific Method. Scientists follow the scientific method. It has 5 steps, including the plan, hypothesis, research, experiment, and conclusion. And here we see the young student with his wind turbine. Let's read the next section. Kara's idea began when a family member used antibiotic medicine. Antibiotics are used to fight bacteria. One problem is antibiotic resistance, said Kara. Antibiotic resistance is when bacteria changes in response to medicine. This makes it harder to treat. So she saw that doctors were giving out too many antibiotics, and it was actually making the bacteria stronger. That was her problem. Let's see what her solution is. Kara made a bandage that is liquid, like water. It reduced antibiotic overuse. Antibiotic overuse is when antibiotics are used when they're not needed. However, overprescribing them has led to resistant bacteria. That is bacteria that are harder to treat, like we were talking about. Kara tested it in front of the judges and won the contest. She lives in California. So her solution was right here. She actually made a bandage that is liquid like water, and it cut down on the need for antibiotics. So she found her problem and she came up with a solution. Let's see who our next inventor is. Caroline is a contest finalist from New York. She made a model train that runs on air pressure. The energy needed to start the train came from solar power. And we know a lot of people are worried about right now our public transportation and our cars are using too much energy. They're using electricity or they're using gas or diesel fuels, and that's bad for our environment. So that was her problem. And her solution was a train that came from solar power, from energy from the sun. Each inventor had a different way to plan. Jordan needed to learn more about similar things. His study helped him make a wind turbine. Remember we said that's similar to the windmill? That is better at using wind power. He is from California. So here's our new section. I see a new subheading, Next Steps, in bold print. After planning, the inventors hypothesized. That means they came up with possible solutions to the problems. It was hard to find information, though. Kara said it was hard because the technology is new. Finally, she and others found what they needed. Next, they had to study their solutions and find ways to test their ideas. Sarah Frisco is a scientist at 3M. She talked to other scientists who knew about bandages. They helped Kara. Then they started to experiment. That includes doing tests and getting data. Jordan said, I was trying to figure out how to best improve a turbine. Remember the wind turbine? To get wind power to make energy? He would mostly do tests over the weekend so he would have time to keep going. Caroline writes down her plan to make it clearer, she said. If they did not get an answer in one trial, they had to do it again. Try again. So you're not always going to get your best prototype or your best invention the first time. You might have to try over and over. Our last section with our new subheading, Getting Results. Finally came the conclusion, remember? But that's what you find out in the end of your experiment. This is when scientists look at what happened. The young inventors were also surprised they finished well in the contest. At first, I was really shocked, Kara said. She thought others would win because their projects were good. Caroline and Jordan were surprised and happy. So there you guys see some great kid inventors. They came up with a problem in their lives, community, or world, and they used the process of discovery and new inventions to create solutions. I hope you guys enjoyed some background information on the scientific method, and now you have a new way to go about your own process of discovery. Happy learning!